When that alarm goes off in the morning, you jump up out of bed, that excitement, you can feel that excitement. You know you're getting ready to go, but you have no idea where you're gonna go, but you know it's gonna be somewhere probably pretty good.
Well, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Okay. We had a late start this morning. They moved us back an hour, and we didn't leave till 6:30, and so got a solid night's sleep.
I had all my equipment rigged the day before. Of course, we don't know where we're going. So I want to get up, I want to get down there and kind of just feel at ease. That's the biggest thing about Major League Fishing, is all the unknowns.
Uh-oh. Just getting to the lake. This one might be a little bit different derby right here. I don't see a lot of docks. Can't tell if there's a lot of vegetation on the shoreline, but it looks an awful lot like a smallmouth lake. Gosh, you never know with these northern lakes what they're gonna be. So we pull up to the ramp, trout lake. First thing I was thinking was, I hope there's a little bit more than trout in the lake.
Here we are. Funky running over there.
Randy gives me the map of the lake, and I can see it has lots of deep water, has a few shoals, has a big ridge running down the whole thing.
We've never had one of these on before.
What do you do? What do you do? I want a largemouth fish, but my gut's telling me I need to be going after those brown ones.
For today's sudden death round, the anglers were racing to a cut weight. The first 3 anglers to cross that threshold would advance to the championship round.
We're looking at 26 pounds today. Sudden death, man. Feel it.
What?
Inside, I think. We'll just do that. Was that right?
26 pounds.
It's a lot of pressure right now this morning to go try to catch those fish, so that's going to be interesting.
I was shocked when they announced the cut weight was going to be 26 pounds. I thought, wow, it could go down really quick.
You have to catch them quick. And the guy who can find a group of fish quickest is going to have normally the guy who's going to get out first. From the previous lakes, we're thinking, 26 pounds, I'll pull up on one point and possibly catch that. But these guys know what they're doing, and I knew that it couldn't be that easy.
Whew. Clean. It's like your kind of water, Ike.
I like it.
Set the cut weight awfully low. That's what I'm saying. What's that mean? Make it happen in a hurry.
You can go.
Game on.
I kind of just held back this morning when we took off. Everybody ran to the far end of the lake, and when I went 100 yards around that bank right there from the boat ramp, and I only saw one largemouth right there, kind of made me nervous that there wasn't going to be a lot of fish shallow. So I left from there, idled over a point, and man, when I got up to that point, there's a loon, there's bait everywhere, and man, I saw like 4 or 5 really big fish on my Lorans.
Holy smokes. That loon gave that away. There's a loon right here that's working them over. There's bass right there underneath them.
Literally, my first drop down with that drop shot, I had a big one on it come off. I drop back down, I catch like a 2.5 pounder, I catch another one, and then I start catching largemouth. Putting the heat on them, boys. Putting the heat on them. Man, it started off with a huge bang for me. It gave me a lot of confidence. It's a big one. It was big, momentum's everything in all sports, and it's the same in fishing, and you want to keep that momentum rolling.
This was visibly a much smaller lake, less than half the size of the lake we fished the first day. I made a decision to try to lap the entire lake to look at the cover.
And see, here you go, grass in 14 feet, and right there's our edge. And we got a break in the 18, no grass. It's pretty interesting.
I basically started on these deep docks, and I get about 4 or 5 docks down. I don't have a single bite on the docks, about probably less than 10 minutes in. And to me, that was an immediate sign that the docks weren't good this time. I look out off the bank, and I see a piece of wood. And I fire that little wacky worm out there.
There's a bite on wood. There he was again. It's a small bass, but that's our first bass bite. It's a non-keeper bass.
But it was a bite, and it was my first sign of the day.
So let's go back to that wood right there behind us.
I remembered seeing more deep wood, big trees laying in the water, and I marked them. So I immediately left there and went right to those trees. I set the hook, and man, my rod's doubled over, and I got a giant on. And that really set the tone for me to fish as many of those deeper trees as I could. You know, momentum in Major League Fishing is a must. Momentum in the sudden death round is really a must.
Let the fish talk to you. Let them talk to you. They will talk to you.
Not long after Iaconelli established a pattern, 2-time Cup champion Kevin Van Dam found his own.
2 pounds, 4 ounces.
Okay, perfect.
As soon as I caught my first one, I saw another one with it. I knew I was in a good little area to catch some fish in a hurry, and starting out early, it's a challenge. You're kind of guessing. But I saw a couple areas that had some gravel and some rock on it mixed with weeds, and I knew those would be, you know, potentially good areas for smallmouth.
While KVD was marching up the score tracker, Iaconelli began searching for a secondary pattern.
You know, the wood bite, I noticed that there weren't enough targets for me to fish.
See this swim float? See how far out it is from everything else?
My first stop was a floating swim platform. On my first cast to it, I have one eat it, swim off with it, and I miss it. I threw back, he'd eat it and swim off with it, I'd miss it. So I left the swim platform, kept it in the back of my mind if I'd ever see another one. Now I'm in pre-fish mode again, I'm in practice mode. And I ran to the opposite end of the lake, and I found a sand flat bordered by a deep water drop. And on that drop, there were just a few sprigs of cabbage grass.
The fish just won real quick.
But when I found that sand break pattern, I ran into the one guy you don't want to run into fishing that pattern, KVD. It's bad because when it comes to smallmouth fishing, there's nobody better at it.
He just caught one. Kevin just caught one way out there on that flat.
It is going to go down today, boys. I knew I was kind of locking into the program that fits my style, and around the corner whips Iaconelli, and he's been running the bank. You know, he can see that I'm throwing a jerk bait, and he starts throwing a jerk bait and stuff, and you know, that's not how I would have done it.
I'm not trying to move in on Kevin, but just being observant, I noticed he caught one on a jerk bait. It gives us another option.
You know, he came out there into the same area as I was fishing, and you know, he started catching some fish.
Here's one. That's a keeper.
With like a minute and a half left, I catch another one, and as I swing it, it lands in the bottom of the boat.
Mike, that was a fish landing violation.
Okay, we'll take it. We're gonna take it.
But the period runs out before the penalty's over. So the bad news is I'm gonna begin period 2 with a 70-second penalty. The good news is I'm on a second pattern.
Thanks for a good period, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good job, guys.
I think if either of us had this to ourselves, we could probably go out right out here. It's just, you know, it is what it is. It's part of the game.